Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to Open Mic here on my YouTube channel. My name's John Campea. You know, every day on the John Campea Show, our main movie news show that we do every morning at 8:30 in the morning. We save a little bit of time for some live questions, but on Open Mic, that's all we do. Now, you might, if you're a regular here on Open Mic, you might notice that we start a little bit late today. Well, today's whole schedule is thrown off because most press screenings for films happen in the evenings. However, I had a press screening for Jurassic World in the morning, so I did the John Campea Show earlier than normal today, and it's thrown everything off. I just finished shooting my review for Jurassic World. That's going to go up really shortly after this show is done. So shortly after Open Mic is done, I'll be putting my Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom review up. I'll just give the quick note. Not as good as the original Jurassic World. Still hasn't captured the magic of the original Jurassic World, but I think this is the second best Jurassic movie we've had so far. Check out my review a little bit later for all the gory details, but yeah, I had a lot of fun with it, as a matter of fact. Okay, so I said today's show is all about taking your live questions, so we're going to go for about 45 minutes here, and let's see what we got cooking today. And the first question today comes to us from Degato1, who says, have you seen the Widows trailer? It looks great. It looks fantastic. It looks great. Now, I've been very curious about this movie. As a matter of fact, we talked about this trailer on the John Campea Show earlier today, but not everybody can watch every show. I've been really looking forward to this. Number one, because Steve McQueen is directing it. When you look at his films like Shame or 12 Years a Slave or Hunger, this dude has just knocked it out of the park with every single major feature film he's directed. And of course, the last film that he directed won Best Picture at the Academy Awards. Now he's got Widows. So I've been really excited about it because he's directing, but I've also been excited about it because the synopsis sounds so good. Bunch of mobsters die trying to pull off a heist, so their widows step up and do it. I mean, there's something very cool about that. So yes, I did see the trailer, talked about it a little bit earlier today, and I liked it a lot. I was very impressed with it. All right, let's move on here. Ben Rayner writes, did you hear Bernie Mac's voice in Bumblebee at the beginning? I got chills. I like Transformers 1, not the rest. I also like Bernie Mac a lot. R.I.B. Bernie. I did not notice his voice, to be honest with you. Now, granted, I didn't sit down and watch the Bumblebee trailer like 8 times in a row. Like, I watched it, I think, twice. So I didn't notice the voice. I'm like you, Ben. I like the first trailer. I don't care. I will stand up and defend the first Transformers movie till the day I die. I love that first Transformers movie. Wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty damn good. The other ones have been complete rubbish, in my opinion. Some of you may like some of the other ones, and that's great if you do. That's perfect. For me, personally, I thought they were terrible, and I've really hated them. So, look, the Bumblebee trailer was good. I liked it, but you know me. I have drank the Kool-Aid on every Transformers trailer that's come out. Like, Transformers 2 comes out and I hate it. But the trailers for Transformers 3 come out and I drink the Kool-Aid. Like, oh, Transformers 3 is going to be awesome. And then it completely sucks. Then the trailers for Transformer 4 come out. And I drink the Kool-Aid again because the trailer, I think, looks awesome. And this happened over and over and over and over again. So I'm feeling like I'm a little bit more reserved now when it comes to how much hype I'm going to have and how much hype I invest in any Transformers movie. Now, granted, this one's got the director of Kubo and the Two Strings. That's a huge plus. And the trailer looks nice. And I love seeing Bumblebee in his original VW form. That's great too. So I like it. It's a positive. I'm just not going to get too excited about it until I see more because, like I said, with me, it's been drinking the Kool-Aid every time, man. So I'm going to learn my lesson at some point. Let's see. Next up, Dakota Barber writes, from your tweet, sounds like Fallen Kingdom is a ton of fun, and the some heartbreaking moments part of your tweet has me even more excited for the movie. Yeah. So I put out a tweet earlier about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And you know what? Instead of me let me just pull it up here. Let me just pull up the damn thing so I can read it for you verbatim. Just in case you guys who don't follow me on Twitter, if you don't follow me on Twitter, why aren't you following me on Twitter? Just follow me right there. You see my handle right there, John Campea. Anyway, this is what I wrote. I wrote, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom another Jurassic World movie or another Jurassic movie that fails to capture the magic of the original film, but succeeds in delivering thrills, excitement, and some legitimately heartbreaking moments. Second best film in the franchise, in my opinion, certainly worth a watch. And that sums up in a nutshell. Like I said, I go into a little bit more detail in my full review, which again I will put up on my channel shortly after we're done this show today. But yeah, there are a couple of moments that there's some real hard-hitting emotional moments that you're like, oh, like some, and I'm not going to give anything away, but some heartbreaking moments. And that part of it really caught me by surprise. It really did. All right, let's move on here. Next one comes to us from Hector Jeter, who writes, just watched Upgrade. Really awesome movie. Wasn't expecting anything like it. Pretty much an intense episode of Black Mirror. Have you seen it? Oh, no. I've been talking about that for a few days. I just have not, like between everything going on, I have not had a chance to get out to see Black Mirror. And then yesterday, I had a screening of Tag. And then today, I had a screening of Jurassic World. So I'm hoping tomorrow or Thursday, I'll finally have a chance to see it. Because, Hector, you're not the first one to say on this show that that Upgrade is really impressing you. I've had a number of people writing into the chat saying that they've seen Upgrade and they really love it. I had a few people even saying it's their number 2 favorite movie of the year, right behind A Quiet Place. So, I mean, that's high praise. So I'm expecting good things. I'm hearing good things from everybody. I'm excited to see the movie. I just haven't had time to get out and watch it yet. Hopefully tomorrow. All right. Murray Reich writes, now that's where Hawkeye was during Infinity War, playing tag. Oh my God. And you know what? You can understand why, because Hawkeye is damn good at tag. I'm not going to say anything more. I'll let you wait to see the movie yourself. But Hawkeye is damn good at tag. And you know what's funny? There's a review embargo. I can't say much, but I will tell you this. There's a lot about his character in Tag that reminds me of Hawkeye in many ways. Now, I'm not going to go into any details other than that, but to say that, yeah, I mean, you can see it. Okay. Josh Crichton writes, John, I'm thinking about going to Star Wars Celebration next year in Chicago. It's funny because my buddy came with me to see Jurassic World, and he's here. He's actually downstairs waiting for me right now. And he was just asking me, hey, should we go to Celebration? I'm like, I'm not going to Celebration this year. And my brother-in-law, Stan, has been calling us saying, hey, let's all, like, me, Ann, Stan's wife, who's Ann's sister, saying, hey, let's all go to Star Wars Celebration this year in Chicago. I'm like, I'm done. I'm so over the Star Wars fan community right now. It's absolutely crazy. Still love Star Wars, over the fan community. But anyway, Josh writes, I'm going to see all Star Wars nerds in costumes. Please go, John. Now, I was really looking forward to it. I was really excited about going to Star Wars Celebration again because I had a magnificent time at Star Wars Celebration Orlando. I had a great time. And the number of you guys who came up, I literally had a chance to meet thousands of you guys, which was amazing. Such an incredibly rich experience for me. I'll never be able to equal it. But I'm just at a point now with the Star Wars fandom that but hey, by all means, you should go. And anybody who's listening, who's thinking about going, all I can tell you is that I had a magnificent time at Star Wars Orlando. And if you're even contemplating going, you should probably think really seriously about it because it is honestly a very good time. It's a very good time, and I think you might have a good time if you go. Josh Crichton follows up. Of all the movies you've seen, let me ask which screenplay you wish you wrote. Oh my gosh, hundreds of them. For me, don't laugh. Dinner for Schmucks with Steve Carell. You know what's funny? As much as I love Steve Carell and Paul Rudd, and Zach Galifianakis is in that as well, I did not love Dinner for Schmucks. I liked it, but I did not love Dinner for Schmucks. And considering how much I love Paul Rudd, and how much I really like Zach Galifianakis, and how much I adore Steve Carell, I would have thought that I would have liked the movie a little bit more than I did. And I didn't. So, no, I'm not going to say that one. Probably the one I wish I wrote the most would be Shawshank Redemption. That movie's just... There's a reason it's in my top 10 films of all time. Has been ever since the day I saw it for the first time. So brilliantly written, brilliantly directed, brilliantly acted. Everything about it is brilliant. It is one of the greatest films ever made. If If you've never seen Shawshank Redemption, man, I don't know what you're waiting for. It is honestly one of the all-time, without hyperbole, it is one of the legit all-time greatest movies ever made. You got to make sure you watch it. So that's one that will pop to my head when thinking about which movie do I really wish I had written. Shawshank Redemption. Shawshank Redemption for me. All right. We move on here. Chris Warden writes, any update on the San Diego Comic-Con meet and greet this year? Well, I hadn't even 100% decided to go to Comic-Con yet this year, but it is now official. I am going to San Diego Comic-Con this year, and I will be doing my panel again this year. And I'll let you guys know right now what the panel is. The panel this year, I'm going to focus, because you know the name of my panel is the Masters of the Web panel, and I'm going to focus this year on, I haven't come up with the official title yet, but my panel at Comic-Con this year is going to be focusing on you creating a space for online fan community. You creating a space and contributing to the online fan community through creating your own podcasts, blog, or YouTube channel. So I'm going to specifically, we're going to be talking about, me and my guests are going to be talking about how to get started. And we're going to talk about putting an emphasis on making sure you become a positive influence in the online fan community. How to be a positive contributor to the online fandom. How to add to the online fandom. And look, and we're going to be very realistic as well. I know there's going to be a lot of people who will want to come to my panel and say, how do I do it for a living? It's like the harsh reality is only 1 out of every million is going to do it at this point. It's an oversaturated space. But how do you get it started for fun and enjoyment and for the love of movies and entertainment or whatever your fandom is? But we're going to obviously specifically talk more in lines of comics, movies particularly, television, things like that, and really contributing to fandom and how to do that. We're going to talk about some practical stuff. We're going to talk about some philosophical stuff. And I can tell you right now who one of my guests is. That I'm very, you've met him before. I've had him on my show before. But one of my guests is kind of the guy in charge over at the Fine Brothers when it comes to fan interaction, social media, all that kind of stuff. He was he was the CFO, he was the chief financial officer for Fine Brothers. Like there was the Fines, and then there was this guy, my buddy Soul Video, John Green. He's going to be one of the guests. I believe his official title now, he's the executive vice president of Fine Brothers Entertainment. What a great dude to have on this panel. He is so qualified to talk about the online presence, understanding your place in the online fandom, how to expand your online fandom, or how to expand your own online presence while contributing to online fandom. I'm so excited that he agreed to do it. So I'll be announcing other people who are going to be on my panel later. But yes, once again, my Master of the Web panel will be at Comic-Con this year. And we're going to focus on helping you guys, because I believe everybody who's got an itch for it should create a podcast or a YouTube channel or a blog or whatever, not to do it full time for a living, but to do it for the love of it and do it for the engagement of it. And I'm going to give you guys some practical steps about equipment, how to get started, all that kind of stuff. We'll talk about philosophy. Very much looking forward to it. And I just turned this whole thing into a big plug for my panel at Comic-Con, but make sure you're there. It's going to be on the Friday morning of Comic-Con. I'll give you all the specific details later. Which brings us to the question of a meet and greet. I don't know. What I might do is I might do a meet and greet immediately following my panel. I might say, hey, after the panel's done, I'm going to be going to this bar or this restaurant, or this is where I'm going to be for an hour and a half. And anybody who wants to come and hang out, come and meet, say hi, whatever, that's where I'm going to be for an hour. So I'll figure that out, or maybe I'll do it on another day of Comic-Con. I'm not sure yet. I'll get that all figured out, and I'll let you guys know as soon as I can. All right, let's see here. Next up, Aussie Nerd writes, I have seen fandoms fall because of this level of toxicity. Imagine if the main image of Star Wars fans in the media is negative. Oh, I know. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it because we've been talking about it so much, but yeah, something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. And I hope that people who are in a position to actually do some good about it will actually do something about it. I talked about that a little bit this morning. I'm going to leave it at that. But I agree with you, Aussie Nerd. I really do. Michael Soleric writes, Biggest takeaway from Lego Movie 2, Emmett knows how to use his blinker while turning, even in a wasteland. That's good driving. Looking forward to it. I'm telling you, I really like the Lego 2 trailer. And I mean, look, I love the first Lego movie. Who would have thought a stupid movie about plastic building bricks could turn out so delightful? Like, they're just so damn good. So I've been very excited for a Lego Movie 2. But I wasn't expecting a lot from the first trailer. This first trailer gave me more than I was expecting. And I love that Emmett's character completely shines through, as always. I love the general gist of the whole thing as well. There are some really good big smile moments for me in the trailer. I thought it was really nice, better than what I was expecting from a first trailer. And the movie's still a ways off, so we're going to have a number of other trailers coming. Of that, I have no doubt. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And I thought the trailer was just great. Josh Crichton writes, Steven Tyler or Ozzy Osbourne, favorite song or album? With Steven Tyler, I'm not actually a big Ozzy guy, oddly enough. I never have been. I've never been a big Ozzy guy. I have been a big Steven Tyler fan ever since Walk This Way. And yes, my first exposure to Walk This Way was the Run DMC. But remember, Steven Tyler was in the Walk This Way Run DMC rendition of it with Run DMC. And that was my real first big exposure to him. And ever since then, following him, the band, all that kind of stuff, I've just liked a lot of their stuff. And whether it's one of my guilty pleasure movies like Armageddon and Don't Want to Close My Eyes, Don't Want to Fall Asleep Cause I Miss You, baby. Like, it's one of those songs that the moment I hear the song, I instantly think of the movie, right? So there's that. There's Bryan Adams, Everything I Do. That takes you right back to Robin Hood. There's a few songs that as soon as you hear them, they become completely etched in your mind as identifying with that movie, right? And I Don't Want to Miss a Thing is just one of those songs for me. On top of a lot of, like, we did a couple of covers of theirs in some cover bands that I played in. So yeah, for me, Steven Tyler or Ozzy Osbourne is easy because I'm not actually a big Ozzy fan, so it's Steven Tyler. All right. Vrinder Singh writes, growing up in the 80s and 90s, I was a frequent victim of racism at school, so I can fully understand how Kelly M. Tran must be feeling. People say certain experiences make you stronger, but there are some things a person shouldn't have to go through. And Vrinder, you're right. Look, I'm a pasty white-skinned dude. So I have every advantage in the world. I can't even pretend to understand what you went through growing up and what probably are things you still experience today. So I'm in a position that I can barely by association even try to understand or try to relate. I come a little bit closer to being able to relate because I don't know if you know, my wife is not Italian. My wife is Asian. Anne is Asian. And I am in a mixed racial marriage. And when I saw, like, not even now, even just a couple months ago, on Kelly Marie Tran's social media, the type of stuff that people were going in there to write, like, I swear to God, number one, it made me want to get a baseball bat. Somebody is mowing their lawn right outside my window, so I'm sure you guys can hear that. I'm sorry about it if you can, but it made me either just want to cry or grab a baseball bat and try to, wipe out the cancerous parts of our population that would say such things. Because being married to an Asian woman, you go on Kelly Marie Tran's stuff and you start reading people's comments, and forgive my language, but this is what I'm reading. Chink this, slant eye that, chink, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just all, and then of course she's a woman and she's not a 95-pound woman, like fat bitch and blah, blah, blah. And just all this stuff. All because you didn't like a movie? All because you didn't like a movie? Are you fucking inbred? You would go on somebody... And by the way, Kelly Marie Tran is one of the most delightful, pleasant, happy, optimistic, just breath of fresh air type of individuals you'd ever want to meet. And people, because you didn't like a movie, you want to try to destroy her? You want to make her feel bad about herself? You want to question her? You want to bring up and insult her race? And you want to insult her body? And you want to insult her name? And you want to do whatever you can do to burn it down because you are so fucking weak that you just can't stand that somebody's a part of something that you don't like? And as somebody married to an Asian woman, and I'd see, because Anne loves Kelly Marie Tran. Anne just loves her. And so Anne would read that stuff. And I just watching my wife's face as people write that. And then I get to sit back and watch people say, there's nobody against the Last Jedi who's racist or homophobic or sexist. That's not real. Yeah, it is. You keep living in denial all you want. Yes, it is. And you may not identify with them, but they sure as hell identify with you. So you should do something about it. Anyway, and seeing how it hurts my wife, that brings it even more home to me. And I still can't understand it because I'm a white Caucasian male dude. I mean, so I can't understand what some people like you, Vrinder, have gone through, what people like my wife have gone to when she's younger, what other people go through. But hey, just keep saying that there's no such thing as sexist or racist people in the anti-Star Wars movement. You go ahead. You keep saying that. If that makes you feel better about yourself, and if that makes you sleep better at night, that's fine. Meanwhile, we've got incredibly wonderful people like Kelly Marie Tran, who's now she loves social media, and she's having to jump off social media because of all the racist, hateful garbage that people just keep throwing at her. Why? Because they didn't like a movie. Fucking disgusting. And I apologize for the language. I actually made a decision a few weeks ago that I'm going to try to swear less. I promise I'm going to try to swear less. But I think about this subject and I see how it hurts people. And I see like people like just being hurt by this stuff. And it's just astounding to me. It's just astounding to me. And then watch people write, there's not really anybody saying sexist and racist things. Keep living behind your own four little walls, I guess, if that makes you feel better. But yeah, Vrinder, that's horrible. Whatever kind of prejudice and racism and stuff you had to face, that's horrible. And I'm sure somebody who has faced it, when you see other people facing it, it probably brings back some pretty bad shit for you too. So that's really awful. But thank you for sharing your feelings on that, Vrinder. I really appreciate it. Murray Reich writes, I saw a report that the shortlist actors for the role of Willy Wonka reboot include Ryan Gosling, Ezra Miller, Felipe the Dancing Microphone, and Donald Glover. Thoughts? I've heard something. I don't believe the report, to be honest with you. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just saying I question whatever those people's sources were. That doesn't sound like it makes a lot of sense. Now, it could be 100%. Tomorrow they may announce Ryan Gosling is this, that, or the other thing, but I personally don't believe it myself. Luna Comics writes, who would be the Gordon Ramsay or Simon Cowell of movies? Oh, I don't know. Although I've seen Simon Cowell on commercials, I've never watched a show with Simon Cowell in it. So I know nothing about Simon Cowell. I have watched a bunch with Gordon Ramsay. Who would be the Gordon Ramsay of movies? I don't know. Steven Spielberg? I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting question, Luna. But that's one I would have to think about for a while. So I'm not really sure how I would go with that. And to be honest, I'm not really even sure exactly what you mean. Like, do you mean amongst actors? Do you mean amongst directors? Do you mean about studio executives? Do you mean amongst film critics? Do you mean amongst, I don't know what you mean. So I can't really answer. Sorry about that. But hey, you guys discuss amongst yourself because that sounds like it could be a fun discussion. Josh Crichton writes, this toxicity needs to stop in Star Wars, and for those who act like Star Wars fans, you guys are nothing but posers. Stop attacking something we real fans love. And by the way, like Josh, we need to, and I'm sure you understand this, we need to emphasize here, you can be a great Star Wars fan and hate The Last Jedi. Like, I'm a legit Star Wars fan, and I hate the prequels. So you can be a legit, true blue Star Wars fan and hate The Last Jedi or hate Solo, even though I think Solo's really damn good, but that's fine. We got to make sure we're differentiating between the majority of people who don't like that stuff are people who just don't like it because the movies do not work for them and they don't like the direction it's going. That's film fandom. That's movies being subjective. There is nothing wrong with that at all, and that is the majority of people. But there is a segment of people who are more than the 0.5% that some people like to pretend it is. That is much, much worse than that. That becomes about tearing down other people. Rather than just expressing your negative thoughts about a movie, it becomes about tearing down other people. Whether it's through racism or jealousy or hatred or sexism or whatever your flavor is. And that is the part that needs to disappear. That's the part that needs to disappear. But it's going to take everybody. It's going to take everybody who loves The Last Jedi and who loves Solo and who loves The Force Awakens. And it's going to take the people who, for the right reasons, don't like The Last Jedi and don't like Solo and maybe don't like The Force Awakens. It's going to take all of us legit Star Wars fans to come together to deal with that segment. Because they're real. Stop sticking your head in the sand. Stop being in denial. Stop playing make-believe. Maybe it makes you feel better about yourself by saying, oh no, those people aren't real. They're not really out there. People are just making this up. No. I see it every fucking day. Every fucking day I see it. In my own chat boards. On Facebook, on Twitter, on everywhere across. So I'm seeing it all over the place. Stop being in denial and start becoming a part of the solution to the problem. Stop harboring these people and giving them your protection. Instead, start dealing with them and start becoming a part of the solution. It's going to take everybody to do it. Both the people on the pro side of The Last Jedi and the against side on The Last Jedi, all true Star Wars fans on both sides of that fence, got to come together and deal with this problem to clean up our fandom. It's never going to work as long as we got some people in our fandom giving shelter and protection and harboring these people. Because that's what a bunch of people are doing. They're harboring those people. Oh, but John, just don't pay any attention to them. Yeah, when we got people like one of the actresses in a Star Wars movie whose lifelong dream was to be in one of these movies, and now she can't even be on social media because the amount of racial slurring, hate, body shaming, everything that Star Wars fans throw at her. It's inexcusable. And I don't give a shit what anybody else thinks about me. Look, I've always said, I do not spend my time on my YouTube channel talking about other YouTube channels. I don't. I'll talk about trends on YouTube. I'll talk about patterns I see myself and other people doing it. But I never sit here and call out because my job, you guys come to me to hear me talk about movies, not to talk about other YouTube channels. It is not my job, nor is it my intention to ever sit here and spend my time talking about other YouTube channels. I often joke about YouTube channel, like my YouTube channel is not to sit here and talk about other YouTube channels. I'll let lesser YouTube channels do that. That's fine if you want to do that. But you know what? You can sit here. There are people out there who like to list me as a shill, who like to list me as this, that, and the other thing. And if you think that's going to stop me from 1 second from calling out and pointing out the bullshit, the racism, the homophobia, the hatred, the attacks, the tearing down, that once again, you may not associate with, but they certainly associate with you, and you harbor them, and you like to pretend and paint this fake narrative that, no, none of that's real. That's not real stuff. That's just people are just making that up. It's not real. You're part of the problem. And I believe you are true Star Wars fans. I do. I believe you have a different point of view on a movie than I do, which is fine. I believe you're true Star Wars fans. But you're also living in denial and you're harboring these other people. You are part of the problem, and you are in the position to be the most powerful position, actually, to do something, to be a part of the solution. And that's why this morning I called upon and I challenge all my fellow pundits out there who happen to be against stuff like The Last Jedi, and they don't like, for legitimate reasons, don't like the direction that Star Wars is currently going. I am challenging all those fellow pundits of mine to become a part of the solution, to come out and directly address that bigger than you would expect portion of the hatred that are sexist, racist, homophobes who are out there just attacking people and just spreading toxic, vile hate everywhere. I challenge you. I know you don't want to call them out because they're people who come to your channel and they give you clicks. And you don't want to talk bad about the racists and the sexist because the racists and the sexists are part of the people that come to your videos. I understand that. But you've got to take a stand on this. You need to be part of the solution. You are in a far better position than I am or anybody else is because you happen to be on that side of the fence, the side of the fence that doesn't like The Last Jedi, the side of the fence that doesn't like the direction that Lucasfilm is taking Star Wars right now, which I respect. But you need to stop harboring these toxic, cancerous, nut-licking, cousin-humping losers, and you need to be the one to start calling them out. Because like I said again, you may not associate with them, and I respect that. But they do associate with you. They are associating with you. So call them out. I am challenging all my fellow film pundits to call them out. Or continue harboring them. Continue painting the fairy tale, fake lie narrative that they don't really exist and they're not really a problem. You got a choice to make. Whatever you do is up to you, but that's everybody else's choice to make. Let's see. Michael Solaric writes, the more I hear about so-called Star Wars fans throwing insults and bully people really makes me question what they hope to accomplish. It's awful behavior over a movie. Kind of hard to be a Star Wars fan now. Yeah, it is. It is kind of hard to be a Star Wars fan. But hey, you know what? Instead of calling those people out, what they would rather do is say, oh, Campea likes a Star Wars movie? Call him a shill. Oh, that's so clever and original. You think I give a shit? Do what you want to do. But, yeah. And like I said, though, it's going to take everybody, including those people who like to call me names, which is fine. It's going to take those people to get on board and say, hey, you know what? You like The Last Jedi. We hate The Last Jedi. You like the direction Star Wars is going in. We don't like the way it's going, but we're all Star Wars fans. And there is this cancerous, toxic group in our midst, and we got to get them out. And it's going to take all of us. Not just the people who like The Last Jedi, not just the people who don't like The Last Jedi. It's going to take all of us to call that out and to eradicate it from our fandom, to make sure that they can never associate themselves with what we all, as Star Wars fans who agree and disagree over certain movies within Star Wars, we can never allow them to associate with what we all collectively stand for. And it's just something that's got to be done. Anyway, Zombatron 5678 writes, Kelly Marie is literally my celebrity crush, and I'm so sad about her. Hope she can heal from these scumbags. I mean, what's really sad is if you ever had a chance to meet her, your heart would break. Because this is a girl who is just a little geek nerd girl. She plays Dungeons and Dragons. She's into cosplay, and she got to be in a Star Wars movie. And if you don't like that Star Wars movie, that's fine. If you don't like her performance in it, that's fine too. That's fair. Nothing wrong with that. You fat bitch, chink, chunk, ching, chong, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. Well, that you think that's fine. Okay, well, what world do you live in? Anyway. It would very much break your heart if you actually ever met her. Michael Solaric writes, also, I hope your mom is doing okay. My mom went through heart surgery. She did double bypass, and apparently went great. So apparently it went so well. She called me herself from her cell phone the other day, which was really weird. Like, I'd look down my phone and it's my mom's cell phone. So I thought maybe my sister's calling me, but it was my mom. So that's great. Just working out when she's going to go in to do some rehab now. And then once she knows when she's getting out of rehab and they're moving her back home, then I'm going to probably take a week off, fly home and be with my mom. So, but thank you for asking. And yes, she's doing quite well. Thank you. Thunder Knight 19 writes, your thoughts on the new Mortal Engines trailer? Haven't watched it yet. You know, there's a couple. There's like that new Matthew McConaughey trailer dropped. Haven't watched that. The new Mortal Engines, I saw that. I got the email notification from the studio. We got a new trailer. Haven't had a chance to watch it because I had to run out the door to go watch Jurassic World. Then I raced back here, did my Jurassic World review, had to install something, then get ready to do this show. So I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. Again, on top of that, we had like Widow's trailer, and we had Bumblebee trailer, and we had Lego 2 trailer. So this one I haven't had a chance to watch yet, but I'm very, very intrigued to see it. Let's see. History Soup writes, with less than $2 billion, Infinity War underperforms. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Infinity War. Actually, where is it now? I thought maybe it would have crossed by now. Let me see here. Infinity War box office. Where is it sitting right now? Right now, Infinity War is at 1.967. So it still has it still has $33 million to go. 33 million more and it'll cross the 2 billion marks. I mean, we can basically say you can say it's made $1 billion. It's made $2 billion. You can't technically say it's in the $2 billion club yet, but you can basically say it's made $2 billion. It's, the funny thing is, I really thought that it was going to catch Star Wars The Force Awakens. Like, after it had that huge opening, I believed it was going to catch Star Wars The Force Awakens. However, it looks like that's not the case. It looks like it won't actually catch it, because that's still like that's 100 million away. And it's not going to make another 100. I don't think Infinity War is going to make another 100 million. I think it'll get over that $2 billion mark, but I don't think it's going to make another 100 million. So I think I was incorrect about that. Let's see. I can't think of a good username, which is such a good username, writes, wouldn't the casual viewers be confused by X, Cameo, and Solo? Well, I can't really talk about that openly here, but I addressed that question before, and I said, no, I don't think so. Like, it may cause some confusion, but there's two types of confusion. One is confusion that is caused by something not making any sense. And then there's confusion caused by people not having all the information. That type of confusion and surprise can be good, because it can be, wait, because it can be a good thing to leave an audience a little bit bewildered. Like, wait a minute, what just happened? How did that happen? Like, and as long as it's a confusion caused by not having all the information, as opposed to a confusion being caused by something not making logical sense, and the X cameo in Solo does make sense when you look at the history of the canon, then I can live with that. I can live with that kind of confusion. That can be a good thing. It's the other type of confusion it's confusion because it doesn't make any logical sense. That's where it becomes a problem. Let's see. I can't, sorry, we had a big jump here. La la la. Where are we? There we go. I can't think of a good username, writes, why when a TV episode is bad, it's the writers who get blamed, but the movies, it's the directors? Well, because movies and TV are two very different things. In the movie universe, the person most in charge, look, obviously filmmaking is a collaborative effort, but the person most in charge of what's happened, who has the most direct influence over how a movie goes, is the director. In television, it's different. The directors work for the writers in television. Because most TV shows, a director comes in and directs 1 or 2 episodes. The writers are the ones who are ultimately in charge of the overall direction, scope, and where all the show's going. So a director can come in, but a director's only got so much power. It's like a director says, I want to do this with the episode. And the writers go, well, that's nice, but tough. We've already written the next 7 episodes after this, so don't do that in this episode, So in television, it's the writers who are the bosses of the directors. In movies, it's the other way around. Now, that's not a hard and fast rule. There are exceptions to both of them. Absolutely there are. But that's the general way. The directors work for the writers in television, whereas the directors are the ones mostly in charge in movies. So that's why blame is given out a little bit different between television shows and movies. Let's see. Blue News Podcast writes, Kelly Marie Tran deleted her Insta because of Star Wars hate. Yep. Never mind, that was fake news. No, wait, it's true. She just deleted all her posts. Yep, no, we've been talking about that ad nauseum, dude. Caleb Bradford writes, did you hear about the passing of the actor who played security guard Hank on The Office? No, I didn't hear about that. Oh, that's a shame. It's funny. He was on so many seasons. There were so many seasons that he had at least a couple of appearances. Yeah, no, I did not hear about that. That's really sad. That's really unfortunate. Thanks for sharing that, Caleb. I appreciate that. I did not know that. But thank you for sharing. Thanks a lot, man. Ike O writes, will you ever review Westworld? Well, if I can get caught up, maybe. I will say this. I wasn't a huge fan of season 1. There were a lot of stretches in season 1 that I was close to just ditching on the show, but then they would put a really good episode on. And the final episode of season 1 was fantastic. I gotta say, I have liked season 2 more. And it's funny because I'm hearing some Westworld fans that don't like season 2 as much, but I'm actually appreciating it a little bit more. I'm actually liking season 2 more than season 1. So, I'll think about it. I will think about it. Yeah, I'll give it some thought. Van Sensei writes, seeing the Ocean's 8 reboot on Friday. Oh, is it this Friday that it opens? Hold on a second. Let me just double check here. Release schedule. I didn't think it was this week. No, it's not this. No, it's next. No, it's not even next week. When is it? When does Ocean's 8 open? Okay, now I'm confused. Oh, no, I take that back. You were right. It's this weekend. No, I will probably be seeing that on Thursday night. There was press screenings for it like last week. I could not go. So I'm just going to have to see that on like Thursday night, probably. And also I got to see Hotel Artemis too. I'm actually really excited for Hotel Artemis. I don't know why, but I am. I'm quite excited for Hotel Artemis. Let's see here. V. Chet writes, if Alien 3 was as great as the first two, would have this been regarded as the best trilogy of all time? No, but it would have been in the top 5 conversation. If Alien 3 had not been a train wreck and was like, let's say, on par, not even better or best, but on par, roughly, with Alien 1 and 2, then I think there would have been some legit conversation about it being in the top 5 best trilogies of all time. Would it have been the best? Nah. Even if Alien 3 was as good as Alien 1 and 2, it still wouldn't come anywhere close to Star Wars. It still wouldn't come anywhere close to Lord of the Rings. So it comes into the conversation of the Godfather trilogy, of the Toy Story trilogy, of things like that. But number 1, best trilogy of all time? No, I don't think it even would have been in the conversation. But hey, it's all subjective. Maybe it would have been in the conversation for you. It wouldn't have been in the conversation for me. Let's see. Geo writes, don't understand how MCU and Star Wars share somewhat big fan base, but Star Wars gets hate for diversity and MCU doesn't. MCU doesn't get complaints, but Star Wars fans cry. Well, I think the stuff with the MCU, I remember, I'm really talking about segments of people here. The stuff with the MCU is, like, a lot of these times, like, the MCU isn't something that a lot of these people grew up with. There was no Marvel Cinematic Universe for us to grow up with. Whereas, I think people will feel a little bit more attached and a little bit more ownership over something that we grew up with. Well, John, I grew up with the comics. Yeah, the comics, but that's different from the cinematic universe, right? And I think we as human beings, all of us, I think we will have a more natural tendency to be even more emotionally invested in and feel even more a sense of ownership over whether we should or shouldn't. I think it's only human that a lot of us will feel that for things that we not only have liked the last couple of years, but something we have liked basically our entire lives. I know that's true for me, and I'm sure that's true for a lot of other people as well. So I think that's a human tendency, that we get more emotionally invested, therefore our ire gets raised a little bit more easily. We feel a little bit, maybe a little bit, it's also kind of natural and human to feel a little bit more of a sense of entitlement. I'm entitled to have things my way. That's what we as human beings do. We're fucking idiots a lot of the times, all of us. I mean, that's part of what being human is. We can be really stupid, ignorant people sometimes. That's what being human is. And we all do it. You do it. I do it. We all do it, right? So I think there is just a natural tendency to be even more attached in that way to things that we grow up with. And I think that's probably why there's a little bit of a difference. Then again, I'm no professional sociologist, so take what I say with a massive grain of salt. The number Thor writes, if you could captain a Star Trek ship, which one would it be? The Voyager, Kirk's Enterprise, Picard's Enterprise, Archer's Enterprise or the DS9 station? Which would you choose? Oh, that's no questions asked. Picard's Enterprise. It's the most powerful one. It's the most powerful one. Yeah, by far. Yeah, Picard's Enterprise. Damn right I want that holodeck. I want that holodeck and all the filthy things I would do in it. You're damn right I want that holodeck. So almost for the holodeck alone, and the fact that it is an Enterprise, and the fact that it is more advanced than Kirk's or Archer's or whatever, I go for the Starship Enterprise and its delightful holodeck. Thank you very much. Grandmaster writes, did see Ben-Hur for the first time. It was beyond spectacular. I'm going to assume you're talking about the original Ben-Hur, or at least the one with Charlton Heston. At least I'm going to assume you're talking about the one with Charlton Heston. Seen Ben-Hur for the first time. It was beyond spectacular. I cried at the end when Heston had his redemption moment. So powerful. What's your most emotional moment in the movie? For me, one of the most powerful moments of that Ben-Hur is the moment when Charlton Heston, he's just beaten his kind of blood brother's name. Was it Sala? Anyway, I can't remember the name, but he goes in to see after their chariot race, and the Roman dude who was basically his brother is now laying there on the bed, basically just ruined. He's wrecked. And that scene between the two of them, to me, is so powerful. It's one of the greatest scenes in cinematic history. There's something about that moment when Judah, that's Ben-Hur, Judah Ben-Hur is his name, when Judah Ben-Hur goes down to see him laying there wrecked, and he's trying to work some things out, and it's so powerful. It's so powerful. Such a powerful scene. But anyway, yeah, that's my big one. I'm glad you had a chance to finally watch that one, Grandmaster. I'm glad you enjoyed it because I love that movie. Tamus Yusuf writes, Infinity War and Avengers 4 to make $4 billion altogether. Crazy. Possibly. We'll have to see what happens with Avengers 4. But I'd say it's a good 50-50 chance. Don't know for sure yet, but we'll have to wait and see. But it is crazy. I mean, oh my goodness. $4 billion in 2 films. Nuts. Anyway. Matthew Leach writes, Deadline just dropped. Kellyanne Lonsdale is no longer playing Wally West on Flash or Legends. Thoughts? Really? I did not know that. Hold a second. Let me see what's going on in the news thing here. Not returning as a season regular. And he's not... You know, it's really funny because I remember thinking that Kid Flash, which is the character he plays, I remember thinking he's not fitting in with the Flash cast. Not that he's an actor isn't fitting in, but I just kind of felt like the character wasn't fitting in with the rest of the Flash team. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of felt like, and I when they moved him over to Legends of Tomorrow, I actually thought that was a great move. I thought he would fit in really well there. So forgive me, because this is one of the shows that I watch. I will not be returning to either show as a series regular. Deadline is confirmed. Let's see. Just because he won't be a regular doesn't mean it's necessarily the end for Kid Flash, aka Wally West. He will be appearing in the season 5 premiere of The Flash. The Australian actor originally joined the cast of CW's The Flash as a series regular in season 2. Wow. I wonder if that has anything to do with the fact that they just added Constantine. If they thought, oh, since we're adding Constantine, we need to bump a cast member off. Like, I don't know. That's too bad because, like I said, while I totally got that he wasn't fitting in well with the Flash cast, I actually thought he was going to fit in really well with the Legends of Tomorrow cast. I mean, considering that Eobard Thawne is like a speedster they're constantly have to fight against, having a speedster on their team seemed like a really nice balanced thing. So, yeah, I'm surprised to hear that. Thanks for bringing that to my attention, man, but I am surprised to hear that. Let's see. Green Arrow 7 writes, Daniel Bruhl is awesome. Rush is a fantastic movie. Oh, you're damn right. Directed by Ron Howard, Daniel Bruhl, who was nominated for an Academy Award for his role in that, and Chris Hemsworth, showing that he's not just Thor. Chris Hemsworth is a hell of an actor. Hell of an actor. And it's just a really good movie, directed by the guy who just directed Solo, Ron Howard. It's a really great movie. Didn't get nearly enough attention. That movie did not get nearly enough attention. Let's see. Ben Rayner writes, when is the next Star Wars talk? Well, it was supposed to be today because it's Star Wars Talk Tuesday as a show. So it was supposed to be today, but with the Jurassic World thing and everything happening in the middle of the day, I wasn't able to get around to it, obviously. So I'm going to do Star Wars Talk tomorrow. Now, for those of you wondering, wait a minute, I thought you canceled Star Wars Talk. I did, but I started it again, but only, it streams live on our Patreon Facebook group only. So it's only for our Patreon supporters who are on our Facebook group. So that's where Star Wars Talk is. So that will come tomorrow. My apologies about today, but like I said, the Jurassic World thing kind of threw the whole schedule of today off. My apologies for that. Let's see. The number Thor writes, with Daredevil and Punisher being rated R, do you think Netflix will add Blade to their Marvel universe, as I believe he could fit into the R-rated Netflix universe? Love to hear thoughts. I don't know. They tried doing a Blade TV series. Now, granted, that was with Sticky Fingers, remember? Now, granted, that wasn't allowed to be rated R. I don't know that having vampires would fit in with the current, Daredevil, Punisher, Luke Cage world. I don't know that vampires would fit in the way they set that world up. So it's possible. I don't know that Marvel is going to let Netflix start any new shows, because I got a feeling that ultimately they're going to be moving all those shows back over to the Disney streaming channel at some point. So I have a feeling that Disney is going to be resistant to the idea of launching new shows with their characters on any other network other than the Disney streaming channel. I'm not saying that for a fact. I'm just speculating, to be clear. But I have a feeling they'll probably continue on with Punisher and Daredevil and Luke Cage and all that kind of stuff. But I think they're going to be very, very hesitant to start new shows and commit other characters of theirs to other networks, when what they're really going to be doing is looking for programming for their Disney streaming service. And so I think that's going to be a difficult sell. Okay. Jedi Knight and friend of Captain Solo, thoughts on Ancient Aliens and those theories? Never seen the show Ancient Aliens. Never watched an episode, to be honest. So I can't offer any input whatsoever. I've seen the memes of the Ancient Aliens guys, but I have never actually watched a single episode of them. So I cannot say anything positive or negative about them. So I have no opinion on it whatsoever. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic movie saga writes, great to hear your mom doing well. My dad had same. Oh, really? Yeah, it's a scary thing, man. Having a parent go through something like that. I can't even imagine what a parent feels when a child goes through something like that, because you guys know I suffered a couple of heart attacks a number of years ago. I was literally in a Muay Thai class, in an MMA class with UFC fighter James Sandman Irvin. I was literally in a class with him. Did the whole class perfectly fine. Come out from the class, sitting down waiting because Anne is in a jiu-jitsu class. So I'm just sitting there waiting for her, relaxing, and boom, I get hit with a heart attack. It's the craziest thing. Craziest thing. And I've never really been the same ever since. But I can only imagine what my mother went through when she found that out. Because I know what I went through finding out my mom, my parent, was going in for that. It's heartbreaking. I know a lot of you guys have probably been through similar situations. Horrible experience, man. I can't even imagine what a parent goes through when a child's going through it. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unreal. But thank you for the kind words, man. I appreciate that. I'm glad your dad's doing fine, too. Maurice Cook writes, John, what happened to the Sith after The Last Jedi if Darth Vader or Kylo Ren, I think you mean Ren, kill all the other Jedi? Why haven't we seen other Dark Lords of the Sith? Well, theoretically speaking, there are no other Dark Lords of the Sith. Theoretically speaking, I don't know how they're going to work this all out in episode 9, but theoretically speaking, there's the law of two. There's a master and an apprentice, one to have the power, one to crave it. And we saw both the master and the apprentice destroyed. So I think, technically speaking, like, Lucasfilm's been pretty adamant at saying Snoke is not Sith. He's not a Sith. He's clearly a dark side user, but dark side user and Sith are not necessarily synonymous, right? So how they're ultimately going to work all that out, I don't know. My understanding right now is that the Sith is now officially extinct. I think that's the way it would be, that the Sith, as of now, are extinct. But who knows what they've got in mind for episode 9. We'll have to wait and see. Hector Jeter writes, Patreon supporter here. Thanks so much, Hector. Feel good saying that. You gonna envy my Geo. I own Shawshank for years, but I've never seen it. I'm planning on watching it soon. You're right. I envy you. I always feel this big pang of envy whenever somebody gets to watch a movie that I love for the first time. Because, as we've talked about this before, I will never for the rest of my life, ever again, have the experience of watching Shawshank Redemption for the first time. I'll never be able to do that. And you, Hector, you still get to have that experience, and you are right. What I'm wondering is, how have you owned that movie for so long and still not popped it in? Like, that's the question I have for you. Anyway, let's move on here. Darth Impact writes, oh my gosh, we're almost out of time here. Okay, Darth Impact writes, with the high level of toxicity in the Star Wars fandom, what's the chances they cancel Celebration? Over under 20%? Zero. Zero, 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 zero. They will still do it, and it'll be sold out, and everybody's going to go. And probably most people who go are going to have a really good time. So I believe it's an absolute zero chance that they cancel that. Absolute zero. I mean, because of that, who knows? Maybe something else happens, like a meteor hits London or something like that, and that cancels. So yes, there's still the possibility they cancel it for other reasons, but for that, zero. I'll take the big goose egg on that they cancel over that. Hector Jeter writes, don't you wish you had Domino's luck power, especially since World Series of Poker is going on right now? Come on, do a meet and greet in Vegas. Well, I am coming to Vegas next weekend because it is the World Series of Poker, and I do go and play in the World Series every year. I am thinking about doing a little meet and greet when I'm in Vegas, but honestly, I don't know how many people who watch me live in Vegas. I simply do not know. I mean, I know a couple of guys. There. But I honestly, I don't know how many people in Vegas watch my show. So here's always my biggest thing about doing a meet and greet. I'm terrified of doing a meet and greet and have one person show up and then having to have an awkward hour-long conversation with one person. So, I mean, I don't know, but we'll think about it. I'll think about it. And yes, Domino's luck power. Somebody tweeted, I mean, I talked about this the other day. Somebody tweeted, and at first I thought, yeah, ridiculous. But then the more I thought about it, Domino could, in the cinematic universe, could theoretically be the most powerful being there is. Because if she's just got luck, theoretically, she could fight Thanos and be standing in front of Thanos. And Thanos goes, I'm going to smite you with this. And then he sweats a little too much in his hand inside the glove. And as he moves his arm, the glove just slides off his hand. Luck! And as it lands, it hits a gun scene in the ground and it blasters him in his eyes. Luck! I mean, theoretically speaking, there is nobody that Domino theoretically couldn't beat in a one-on-one fight with luck on her side. I mean, it all depends on how far the writers decide to push that luck power. But yeah, theoretically speaking, there's nobody else in any of the comic book cinematic universes that I think that I would want to avoid a fight with more than Domino. At least with Thanos, you know what you're going to get. Like with Domino, there's a billion different ways you're going to lose that fight. So I don't know. It's really weird. Let's see here. Washington Train Spotter writes, I really liked the Bumblebee trailer. Just hope the movie's not a letdown like The Last Night and all the other ones before that. I completely agree. I like the trailer. Here's hoping they were able to make something special. And again, the one big advantage, let's not undersell this, is the fact that they got the director from Kubo and the Two Strings. That could be a major significant factor in all this. Let's see how that plays out. All right, time for just two more here, and then I need to call it a day, guys. Don't worry, I'm putting up a companion video in the morning. Any live question that got sent in here that I do not get around to, I will carry those over and use them in my companion video tomorrow morning. So keep your eyes open for that. All right, let's see. Scooter Maton writes, you and Red Letter Media are two of my favorite YouTube channels. Great work, man. Thoughts on Plinkett reviews and Nerd Crew parody? I have honestly, other than one, I've only ever seen one thing of it, so I don't have anything to offer on that. Nicholas Noriega writes, which villain would you like to see after Thanos? Don't care. Really don't care. It's because it doesn't matter what villain they put in. It all matters about how they write the villain. That's all that matters. You can have one of the greatest villains ever in Doctor Doom, and if it's not written right, it doesn't matter that it's Doctor Doom, right? Because we've seen Doctor Doom in some horrible, horrible comic book movies. So it almost doesn't matter. You can make Squirrel Girl the next big villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and she could be the best villain ever if they write her right. If they write her correctly, she could become the best Marvel villain of all time. But we'll have to see. Crazy Mr. Fizzle writes, and this will be the last one, Beta Ray Bill will appear in Phase 4 with Adam Warlock. Maybe, you know, I used to think that. I'm not so convinced of that. The more and more I hear from James Gunn, the more and more I'm not so sure that that's true. The more and more I hear from James Gunn, the more and more I'm not so sure that that's true. So we'll have to just, we'll have to wait and see. All right, guys, that will do it for today's installment of Open Mic. Again, to everybody who sent in questions I didn't get around to, my apologies, but I will get to those first thing in the morning in the next companion video. Thanks a lot, guys. And by the way, there's a possibility I may do a play and chat later this evening because I know I'm going to want to play some Warcraft later tonight. So I might actually stream myself while I'm doing it. Come drop in and visit if you want to, but I might do that later on. We'll find out a little bit later. That'll do it for me, guys. Thanks so much for joining here. My name's John Campea, and until the next video, bye-bye.